Hello, traders. This is Ad Zeros, and after a long time, we are chatting together. And today, I'm wanting to discuss one of the topic which is requested and always a major issue for all the developing traders is the trade management and the criterias and the factors to consider when you can add to the trade. And once you add to the trade, how do you manage the trade? What going to be the stop loss? And how do you manage overall situation? So today we're going to discuss this specific topic, and I hope you're going to enjoy. And if you're going to enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up and like. I really appreciate of subscription to my channel and the thumbs up. All right, let's get to it. So what is the trade management rule before if I take the partial? What are the factors I would consider for going into the trade? So the first thing you always remember that why you are adding to the trade. Not all trades are equal, not all trades require an addition. But if you consider to add to any trade, what are the factors you should be considering? So I'm listed down some of the factors which I consider while I'm in the trade. So number one, I would ask myself, how good is my entry? Is my entry is something at the very nice support level, or it is extended on the trend and therefore I do not have much room. So for instance, if you are going, let's take an example here, and this is uh, the stock you are working on right now, and now you see that this is the candle, this is another candle, this is another candle, okay, and then the candle came down and you took the breakout of this trade and your entry is here. So this is the black line is your entry. So now you have the entry. Now that you're asking the question, w- whether where would you add? So let's develop this trend further. So what happened here? It moved back further, then started consolidating, then consolidating, another consolidation, and then consolidation and it break. So you are thinking, okay, it's a beautiful consolidation over the high. Should we add over here as well? Now, if this is a situation when you will consider adding, so let me just bring it down so we can make further. Okay, so when would you consider adding now? Now the question is that where is your entry? So your entry in this situation, let's change the color of the pencil so that we all know what we are talking about. So if the opening price is this level, and right now you can see clearly your entry is almost after the big move, okay, and very small consolidation you have entered, and it's more or less if you make it here, and if I put it here, this line, and this should be the black color. Okay, so if this is your entry, I think this should be red. So if this is your entry, let me write it down. Entry here is, this is your entry, and this is your stop loss, right? Now, if you look at it, the consolidation is lower than right now. You even not have got the first 1 hour because you have a bigger R, and your consolidation, what happened is very close to the entry. So in this case, if you ask me the question that whether should I add, my answer would be no. And the reason is that my entry is not the good entry. I have not getting my on my opening range here on the second candle. I have got my entry on the very high end of the candle right now. Now this can change if I add and two little details of the information here. So little detail information would be that you number one factor, it's given to you that this level where the consolidation is, this is the daily breakout level. Now, now my my thesis is gonna be changed. So now right now I'm on the daily breakout level. Number two, factors I've given that my ATR of the stock which we are trading is $6. ATR is an average true range. So we have an ATR of $6. Third factor I've given today, because of this, the lot of gapped up and gapped up by over 3%, and and for the R valve is 2.5, or maybe an over 1. Okay, over 2. So now, given all these factors, and right now what I see here that if we say that ATR of this is the $6, so we can say that from here to here, this is only covered $2. So if it's only covered here to here, this $2, and so far we have reached uh, only $3.5. And the given I have a lot of other information which suggested me that there is an R Wolf high, the gapped up stock, ATR of $6, daily breakout level. I'm assuming that is going to be here is a big momentum can come. So given this is all the information here, I have I have definitely an edge, and I'm definitely going to add. In this case, what would be my stop loss? Because this is very narrow consolidation, my stop loss would always be like this. This is still going to be in stop loss. So my stop loss wouldn't be changed because the given it is not went that much higher. But when you add, always remember the number of general factors that when you add, your add to the trade should never expose you more than the two risk units. So for instance, your risk unit is $150 for each trade. If your risk unit is 150 per $150 for each unit, and since all the factors in lined up, and this is a very good momentum, and you can get the better because the 6R is an ATR, and um, and then always remember the ATR will also need to be considered your pre-market gap up too. So if we have considered this, we can also just one factor I think we need to list down here as well, that you also need to consider the gap. Okay, so gap is also need to be considered sometimes in ADR depending on the usual strength of the stock. Sometimes you can add the ATR to the pre-market low, or sometime to the low of the previous day, high of the previous day. So all these factor align, you have 150 risk each risk unit. So when you add, you need to make sure that your stop loss should never exceed, which is uh, $300, because if you exposing $300, you're taking too much risk on the one trade. If it just goes south, you will be exposed to the big risk. So never add to the two risk units of each trade. So if you're assuming your daily loss is 450, after this trade losing trade, you still have $150 to take another trade. That's one of the thing you always need to remember. Other thing is, another scenario would be that, if you just missed out, that just cancel some of the factors, take the same example, but a little bit more scenario. So for instance, there is no R valve over 2.0. R valve is uh, 1. So since R valve is only 1, and we can say the ATR is not 6 but 3.5. So in this case, what we are saying that the ATR is not the $6 but the $3.5. And we can say still the gap 3% and a daily breakout level is there. So now we have the daily breakout level. We have a 3 point, but we don't have the R valve, we don't have an ATR. So in this case, even though very small consolidation, but just changing these two factors, I would not add to this trade. Only these two trades. Now, another addition would be, let's take one more example. So in this case, if this is a scenario, only changing these two factors, I would not add. Now let's take one more example. And in this example, let's take this, that here is the candle. Okay, stock move down. This is a gap up stock again. I'm taking a long example. Okay, now, so this is the chart we have right now. Okay, so now what we are essentially saying here, um, that our somewhere our chart is like this. So this is what we are saying, that, let me just do it again. Okay, and what we are saying is our VWAP is coming. This is blue line is our VWAP line. So now we have this VWAP line, and assuming that you usually like to play gap and go, and you went long over this line. Okay, so if I change the lane here, so this green is your entry. So now if I wanted to say here that this is my entry, if this is my entry, my stop loss would be the low of the day, right? You say that stock move up. In this case, since it's a one hour risk unit, you might have taken the partial. So let's take an example here. All right, let's take an example. Okay, so you take the partial on this side because you don't know what is going to come next. So you have taken partial here. Okay, so this is, you have taken the partial. So once you've taken the partial here, the stock came down here back again. Now in this scenario, your stop loss is here. But now since the VWAP is thinking that is going to be a good nice support, what you are thinking that because this is VWAP is a significant level, let's just add that here as a significant level. And you notice that the stock is respecting the stop VWAP, and you wanted to add here. So you will add here because you don't know what is coming next, okay? And you don't know. So you took the partial, you came down, there's a VWAP and it's reversing. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna add now onto the winning trade. After the partial, you're gonna add, and you need to make sure that you won't risk your previous profit. So you're adding on to the trade. And now in this case, your stop loss should not be here. So now in this case, what you're going to do, that this stop loss is going to be cancelled, and the new stop loss would be here, and that is basically a break of the VWAP. And you can give a little bit of a room because sometimes it's just in level, it can spike up and down, so a little bit two more cents depending on the whole number or how semi whole number on the VWAP. And you go, and then the stock comes in. Your first partial should be given the how the candle formed. Since this candle has stopped before the previous high, so I would take the partial here because I wouldn't know that whether it's going to break out or it's just going to come down back again. If this candle has broke up for the previous high, then I wouldn't take the partial unless stop. So now I will take the partial here, and I will rest the rest run for a couple of more minutes to see how this goes. So this is the way I manage the stop loss or trade management into my winning trades. And in all those cases, you need to make sure that that your average is never going to go. So if I add to it, I will only going to add that my average cost is not more than this significant level, and plus minus something going to work, but not to add that much that that my average price is now here. And if my average price is on this level, then I wouldn't add that because then there's no room for me. Is easily I lose my profit after adding, and it can turn back and retest You know, instead of this, maybe stock can, just go, sorry, just go like this and do this and do this and then move back up, so you will be stopped out. So in those scenarios, you need to make sure that your average is always going to be below or the close to the major support, so then you do not have too much exposure to your winning trades. So hope that was be helpful, and feel free to give your comments and feedback that how did you like it, and do you want to hear more about more topics like that, feel free to put the notes there. Thank you very much, appreciate all of it, those who subscribe to my channel. Thank you.